just got our first look at the gameplay for Vendetta, and I actually got to play her. Let's have a look. Gameplay trailer for Vendetta. The Season 20 hero just dropped. But let's have a look at that trailer first before we continue the video. As always, I'll leave timestamps for those that have already seen it. Roll the tape.
Ancora a bocca aperta, eh? Pathetic. Leave no survivors. You're finished. Disgraceful. Not good enough. Dirt beneath my heel.
Wouldn't want to be ya!
Enough games. Cut down. Taste the Palatine Fang. Know your place. Bow down. Che codardia. Oh, impressive. Arriva la punizione! And so, my reign begins.
So, I know a lot of you were still holding on very strong to the idea that she was going to be a tank. Well, Polygon was right. She is a DPS. A melee DPS. Now, before we jump into her kit, let me point out a few interesting things in the trailer. First off, Overwatch continues the tradition where they actually have the previous hero kill the new hero in the trailer. Well, kill. It is Wuyang that tosses Vendetta over the edge. Almost over the edge. Second, she is facing Genji, who in my opinion and gameplay basically is her mirror image, but I'll come back to that later in this video. And third, she faces the Junker Queen. Now, I've always said that I think she was going to be a DPS because I felt like she was too close to the Junker Queen to become a tank. So either I was right or this is kind of a funny coincidence. But anyways, let's run over the kit. As you would suspect with a melee hero, there's a lot of swinging going on with her main weapon. A humongous hardlight sword called Palatine Fang that seems so big that she's actually dragging it over the floor as she is running. She slashes in 3 strikes, left, right, and then overhand, which I think is going to be the more powerful strike. Besides just slashing, she can also hurl some type of bolt like a fire strike, and that ability is called Projected Edge, because she's projecting the edge of her sword. Get it? Haha. You're smart. Now she can only use that one when she's blocking, and it uses a resource. The same resource that she uses to block, which she does with her humongous sword. Now, that is only going to protect herself. It's not going to help her team out. It's also going to deflect all of the incoming projectiles. This block, however, as I just said, is also on a resource called Energy, which makes a lot of sense. It's not a shield. It can't just break. It's her main weapon. So they needed to find another way to kind of limit it, so to speak. In the trailer, she follows up with her second ability, Whirlwind Dash, which does as described in the title. She dashes forward and does a whirlwind, doing damage to everybody that is caught into it. I used to play a lot of Warrior in Warcraft. I love those types of abilities. However, what comes next is also going to be a lot of fun. Soaring Slice. These names are on par. See, Vendetta can throw her sword in any direction that she's looking and basically pull herself towards it. It's kind of like Widow's Grapple, but then with a little more, let's call it impact. That is going to be a sight to behold, but not as much as her ultimate, Sundering Blade, where she basically splits open the ground after she does this huge leap and slashes down. And that strike is going to ignore most of the defenses and do a lot of damage to whoever she catches in there. Her passive is called Onslaught, and if you played that recent Halloween mode with the masks and you put on her mask, this is going to sound very familiar. But any strike she does to an enemy is actually going to speed up with her attack and her movement speed. This is scary, guys. This is scary. Now, besides all of this basic kit, There's also, of course, the perks, and we got a first look at those too. The first minor perk is Siphoning Strike, and that is going to give that overhead slash a 30% lifesteal. There's Relentless that adds 3 more stacks to her passive, so she's going to speed up even further. And the mages are Swift Vengeance, which makes any enemy that kills her a target. And if she manages to kill that target, she's going to get overhealed, but it's also going to reset her cooldowns. I think she's living up to her name. Yeah. And Raging Storm, the second major, is going to extend the whirlwinds in the Whirlwind Dash. Boy, oh boy. Now, as I said at the start of the video, I actually got to play Vendetta, but that was back at the Spotlight event in February, long time ago. So I need to add some serious disclaimers to what follows next. First off, no, I don't have any extra footage. That's not how it works. We were not allowed to record anything, just like it was the case with Young. And to be fair, in this case, it was a very, very early build with a lot of placeholder art. I don't even remember what she looked like in that test. And to be completely fair, there's a lot of details that have gotten very blurry. So to compare how she evolved from back then to now is near impossible. I'm terribly sorry. What I can tell you though was that she was a lot of fun. I had to be honest though, she was a little overwhelming at start. And that might have something to do with the fact that I was playing against a lot of my fellow creators who are usually a lot better at the game than I am. But on the other hand, it felt so extremely satisfying when you got that kill. That whole melee thing, it just works. I think Genji players that manage to kind of nail their ultimates, that are really good at finding their targets, that have an overview, they're going to be gods on this hero. As I just said earlier in the video, I actually think she's Genji's mirror image in the sense that Genji, for the bigger part, is ranged. He has quite a few more than a lot of other DPS heroes' melee abilities, including his ultimate and his slash and whatnot, but his shuriken are kind of a big part of his kit, and those are ranged. So let's say that he's like 40, 60, 30, 70. I think she's just the other way around. She also has a bit of a defense, like he has his deflect, she has the shield, sword, so to speak. Then she has the fire strike thing, but other than that, it's all pure melee. Well, maybe except for her ultimate, that just travels on. So when it comes to the kits, they have the defense that is very similar, the mobility that is kind of similar, but then they just flip the amount of melee versus ranged. It's beautiful. Mirror image. Anyways, to go back to my experience, I also faced a lot of high-level players that were playing Vendetta. So yeah, I got a bit of a taste of how annoying she's going to be, and that was all kind of okay. It never got to a point where I started blaming the character. It was more kind of my own skills and their skills that made it annoying at times, so. That being said, however, it was the first time for all of us, so at some point, some of these players are going to get really good at her, and then we might have a completely different story. It will all kind of depend on the numbers. Now, don't get too dissuaded. I think there's plenty of ways to counter her. Get a ranged hero, or maybe one of those extremely long sticks to hold her off. Good luck with that. But overall, I think she's going to be an extremely interesting hero to be added to the roster. I think she's going to get some really nice skins. This looks promising. When it comes to the gameplay, we get to try her all ourselves next week on August 26th, when the test event is going to start. But tell me, now that you got to see the kit, are you still excited to try out? Let me know in the comments, so come tell me during my streams over on twitch.tv/DeemziesTV. See you there. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons and YouTube members. You too can become a member over on patreon.com/theomnicpost and right here on YouTube to unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.